Okay. So in Dashakam 62, what we saw was Govardhana Puja, which was being done, wherein the Lord said that, again, it was a Leela of the Lord, that instead of worshipping Indra Bhagavan also, let us worship this Govardhana Parvata, which has been so fulfilling, which has helped our cattle, which has helped all of us in providing grass for the cattle, for us food, things like that. So this, of course, was not liked by Indra. That's when Dashakam 63, you see, Indra starts showering heavy rain. Zadrishere kilatakshanamakshata. Continuously, thunder started roaring. Rain clouds came in, and all the quarters in all directions, everyone started to tremble, run away here and there. And it seems that hailstones also were being thrown. So that was amount of rain which was falling. And all of them, they cried, ran about here and there. They prayed to the Lord that we need protection. And at that time, Lord Krishna said that you don't have to fear anything when I am here. Ma vibhitaha, Dashakam 63, verse number 2, wherein the Lord says, don't be afraid of anything, I am there for you. That's when he says that the mountain is our deity, whereas the enemy of the mountain is Indra. So therefore, this mountain Govardhana itself will fight, or you can say will resist Indra. So there is no doubt about this at all. This the Lord said with a very, you can say with a very broad smile, with a sense of assurance. And immediately what the Lord did was he uprooted, he removed the mountain with his two bala dorbhyam, with both his arms. And next what he did was he lifted the mountain with his arm, and it seems that now the mountain also had a sand, it seems, like below it. Now, if you uproot the mountain from the land, you can see a sand bed, right? So that was also very soft, it seems. So usually, if you see, when we go to mountains, also it is full of rocks. But here, though it was full of rocks, it was strong. Still, this bed that was there, that is the bottom part of the mountain, was very soft, it seems. And along with all the fellow gopas, all the you can say cattle, gopas, things which those cowherds had, which they had bought for the puja purpose, everything, all of them came under the mountain, and the Lord was holding the same in his hands. It seems that all the young gopas, gopikas who were there, they became excited looking at this, because nobody had seen such a sight before, right? That to a small child lifting the mountain in his hand. That's when it seems that all the cows also came and gathered around the Lord, and the Lord used to, you can say, put his hands on their back, carries them also. Now, if you see why this was being done is the Lord gives a very, very important message that animals especially have to be taken care of at times of disaster, or especially rains. That's why you see during the rainy season, even the roadside dogs, cats, animal. Now we human beings can save ourselves from the rain, but animals cannot do that, right? And at the same time, if you see, especially cats, dogs also, cats especially, they don't like water. Right? They cannot get wet in that. So these cows also, if you see, they could not bear that. They could not bear the water that was continuously falling. So that's when the Lord, he brought them near, and these animals were afraid, he consoled all of them. Now finally, it seems that in the left hand, the Lord held the mountain in the left hand. The mountain was so huge, and here everyone was surprised. Adribalam no iti. Everyone was thinking, is it this mountain's power that it has reduced his weight, or is it the power of the Lord? We don't know, because for them, Lord Krishna was just a friend for them, right? And all of them, they looked at here and there and saying so. But still, some fellow Gopas who were there, they, it seems that they commented. No, even if in our close circle also, there are few people who speak against us. So, ahaha, darshyam, when we say, he says so arrogant. This boy is telling that I lift the mountain in my hand, but when he cannot bear the weight anymore, he'll put it down. So, this is what they said. But the Lord who was there, he did not pay attention to all this. He simply ignored what they said. Continuously 7 days, Indra Bhagavan started showering rains, and that's when the Lord lifted the mountain also patiently. The Lord had not stirred from that place, and it seems that the clouds became tired. The clouds lost all their water, they became empty, and it seems that the wind came and all the clouds went away. Now what happened is Indra Bhagavan also became scared. Clouds are also going away now because their capacity is done. Now what happened is immediately he felt that now danger is on my side. Rains have started pouring. Now definitely the Lord is angry on me. He might come to fight with me back. So it's better that I run away. That's when slowly the rain starts reducing. Cows, cowherds, everyone, they come out of the mountain, and Krishna Bhagavan again replace the mountain on the earth as it is, and all the Gopas, all the people of Vraja also were happy. Finally, Dharanimeva Pura Tritavanasi. Here, everyone says that Kamala Pate, just as, O Lord of Goddess Mahalakshmi, O Lord of Goddess Kamala, just as in your previous avataram, Varaha avataram, you had lifted Bhumi Devi from Patal Lokam and brought her back. Similarly, today your lifting of this Govardhana mountain somewhat reminds us of that. And if you can lift the entire Bhumi Devi, entire earth, then what to talk about just one mountain that is there? Gurupurala Yapala Yamam Gadad. Bhattatri says, similarly, O Lord of Guruvayur, kindly free me from my ailments. So this is Govardhan Avataram, Dashakam 63. Next, Dashakam 64. Could everyone follow? Yes? Next. Now, what happened is, now people looking at all, now Krishna, if you see right from the time he was born, he had done so many extraordinary things, right? Killing of Rakshasas, lifting of this mountain, uh, and so many other feats he had done. So now finally the Kalyanartanam. Now everyone had a doubt, and it seems that Bhavatajata Kaman Vaprichan. Everyone started asking, show. They used to come to Nanda and said that show this child's horoscope, show this child's Jatakam that is there, because all these things are not easy. Lifting some mountain, or maybe uh, showing the powers as if he's the Lord of the universe only. Now Krishna Avataram is a Purna Avataram. The Lord does not shy from showing his powers. Wherever it is needed to establish dharma, he does that. Now, finally, what happened is that's when Nanda said that Gargamuni, who had done the Namakarana Jatakarma of the Lord, he had said that this child is not an ordinary child and he is born to do great things only. So, therefore, it seems that after that, when Nanda said this statement, it seems all the Gopas developed more respect and love towards the Lord. And finally, Indra also realized the truth about the Lord. He came to meet Lord Krishna along with Kamadhenu. Saha Divyagavya, divine cow, Kamadhenu. Gau is the word. And he also came and started singing the praises of the Lord. He felt at the feet of the Lord and surrendered. And at that time, Kamadhenu was there. She started pouring out milk. That's her way of expressing her love and respect for the Lord. And that's how the Lord got the name of Govindaha. And Govinda Pattabhishekam was done. Govindaha meaning the Lord of cows. And it seems that Airavata, the elephant of Indra, he also bought sacred water from the Ganga, and using that Pattabhishekam, using that water, Indra did Pattabhishekam to the Lord. This is Govinda Pattabhishekam. Thus, the Lord was made the Twaigo Kuleshe, the master or lord of Gokula. And by the Lord's grace alone, it seems that Gokula, even today, if you go, Gokul is a very sacred place in UP near Mathura, Vrindavanam when we go. And its prosperity about this land, people came to know everywhere, even in Vaikuntham heaven also. People from far and wide came to visit the Lord in Gokula. Now, one fine day, what happened is the Lord's father, Nanda, was taking bath in the river Yamuna. At that time, it seems that by one of Varuna Bhagavan. Varuna Bhagavan is water. By one of Varuna's attendants, it seems that Nanda was taken away. Right? Again, this was a Leela of the Lord. Immediately, the Lord Krishna, what he did was to bring the Lord back, and you can say to prove that I can do anything to save my family. Let me be the Lord of the universe, but still, I have to do this. In fact, it seems that he went to the city of Varuna. Varuna Bhagavan city is deep inside the ocean. That is what is believed so. And there, what happens is now Varuna did not believe, right? Now, just as Indra Bhagavan initially did not believe that this the baby Krishna is actually Lord of the universe, similarly Varuna Bhagavan also did not do this. Of course, these are all leelas of the Lord, but still, Varuna Bhagavan could not believe that the Lord has come here, and immediately he was surprised looking at Lord Krishna. Tena Jaladipatena Prapujitaha. He started worshipping Lord Krishna and immediately returned Nanda. And that's when Nanda came back and he told this entire incident to the fellow Gopas who were there. Again, a lot of respect and love developed towards the Lord. Now the Gopas, Harim Vinishchitya Bhavantametan. Harim. Now the Gopas were convinced that this Krishna is none but Lord Hari himself. And that's when all of them, they wanted to have this divine experience of knowing the Lord. And they requested Krishna that you please tell us a way how to reach you, how to know about the ultimate reality, and so on. Which normally human beings, it is very difficult for human beings to do without bhakti. So you please show us the right path. So just as Krishna shows the path to Arjuna in the Gita, similarly you are also in an easy manner. How the Vrajas will understand, in that way the Lord helps them to realize the law. Now it seems that the Lord actually, you can say all the Gopas, they were in a state of trance when they came to know that this Lord Krishna who's there is actually the Lord of the universe, this, that. They started thinking about it, it seems. They went into a state of trance. That's when Lord Krishna brought them back into worldly consciousness. That is, he brought him back, he brought them back into normal life also. Finally, what happened is, finally, Bhattatri concludes, Karabadara, Karabadara, just as on a hand you keep a berry. Similar, so like, and you just tell that you look at it, it's very easy, right? Similarly, the path of devotion, path of bhakti yoga was easily revealed to all those devotees, all those gopas who were there, and very clearly also in a simple manner it was told. That's when Bhattatri says that Nijapadam manavapyam, the ultimate abode of the Lord, that is Vaikuntham, that was the truth of that also was revealed to the devotees. And Bhattatri says that which other avataram have you done this? I don't think such a thing has happened. But here, in the form of a fellow Gopa, in the form of a Govinda, you have done this. You are only the Supreme Self. Now, why it was done here is to show that outer form does not matter. To preach someone or to tell someone something, you don't have to sit on a particular padavi, you don't have to wear certain clothes or so, you don't have to be at a particular position. The Lord, being in the form of a cowherd, being in the form of a fellow Gopa, tries to show to the other Gopas who are there the ultimate Bhakti Yoga, this, that, and so on. So, a very, very important lesson from this avataram that is there is, you don't, from whom we get to learn what, we never know, we should accept that. Just as the other day, I think we were looking at uh, Sunday, right? Whose story, Namdev story, right? Wherein Namdev, in which form the Lord comes, we never know. Namdev and Jnaneshwara, when they go about a pilgrimage, at the time they get many experiences wherein they declare and feel that there are, in which form the Lord will come and meet us, we never know. It's not that always you see the Lord in an image also. That's when, of course, you need a guru and things like that. So, therefore, here Lord Krishna tries to show this, says that even the greatest of teachings you can get from anyone who's there around in any form, belonging to any occupation, maybe your own fellow human being also, we never know. So this is Dashakam 64. Finally, Pavanapura Nivasin Pahima Mamayebhyaha. Pattatri says, just as you are blessing your fellow Gopas, you are giving them the highest level of Jnanam, similarly kindly free me from my ailments too. With this, Dashakam 64 comes to an end. Dashakam 65 we'll see, then we'll stop. Gopi Janaya Kathitam. Now what happened is Rasa Leela starts. Now Mara Utsavam. Now what is this Mara Utsavam? Mara Utsavam is Rasa Leela only. They call it as Mara Utsavam, wherein it was a local festival, you can say, in the which was celebrated in the village of Gokula in praise of the god of love, that is Kama. Now, why so? Why things have to be done? These are all traditions because love, affection is something which has to be there amongst human beings. Therefore, people then used to worship this. And one fine day, what happened is all the gopikas were doing this. That is, the entire day they used to keep a vrata, just as we do things like the Nombu in South or the Karva Chauth festival in North India. Somewhat similar to that, you can consider for their own husbands also. So similarly, a festival of spreading love and affection. And on the bright moon day, on the Purnima day, it seems that all the gopikas they assembled in the Vrindavanam forest on the banks of the Yamuna. The Lord was playing the flute. That's when what happened is all the seven notes, the Arohanam, Avrohanam, Sa to me, and again from Sa onwards, that was being played by the Lord. And even the Apsaras from heaven, from Swargaloka also came. Tarunyaha, Tarunyaha, meaning the young ladies from Swargaloka also came down to hear this, it seems, because the Venunadam, the flute, which was being played by the Lord, was very much captivating and attractive. Now, all those, the damsels, that is Apsaras from heaven, they came down. The Gopikas who are engaged in their household duties also, they left their houses and came. Some were taking care of their children, some were Kanta Upaseva, some were spending time with their husbands also. They left everything, Sarvam Visrajya, abandoning, leaving back everything. They came Murali, Ravaha. They came to hear the sound of the Murali. Now what happened is some apsaras who came or some gopikas, they dressed themselves in the best of their attire and jewels, and it seems that and they were totally mesmerized looking at the Lord. They didn't even look at the entire body of the Lord, it seems. Just by looking at the eyes of the Lord, they were mesmerized. Why so? Now, why the eyes? It seems that not because the Lord looked very handsome or so, was karunya bhavam, compassion was there in the house. You have many commentators who write on this saying that looking at the eyes of the Lord doesn't now, whenever we look at the eyes of someone, we always speak the truth, things like that we say, right? But the point is when we look at the eyes of the Lord, seems that only Karuna Rasam flows through the eyes of the Lord. Looking at that, these Gopikas were enchanted, it seems. Finally, what happened is now those women who were there, Haram Nitamba Bhuvika Chanadarayanti, they were in a hurry to meet the Lord to hear his sound. So they started, you can say, the ornaments also which they were wearing. The necklace she wore on her hips, the hip ornament went in the necklace, things like that, because they were in a hurry to come and meet the Lord. And it's nothing but O Lord Mukunda, Mukunda Tobhyam Vyaktam Babhasha, says that they did not care about all that, they just came to see your face, O Mukunda, Bhattatri says. It seems that few women also they forgot to wear their upper garment, that is it. Now when I say upper garment, it means that in those times people whenever they used to wear a sari, on top of that also they used to keep a cloth, like men also, the upavastram, angavastram that we call, men usually wear, and it should be worn in most cases. And similarly women also like that, the same upavastram has to be worn. Now in the case of men, at least at times we don't you don't wear the upper garment, you just wear the upavastram. In the case of women, though the upper garment is there, still the upavastram has to be worn in certain traditions. So some women there, like we wear a salwar, also you wear the dupatta, right? Somewhat similar to that you can consider. So even on a sari or things like that, also people used to wear. Especially in North India, if you go till date, they take that cloth over their head, right? So not maybe over the head, but at least they used to wear that garment. So some women they even forgot that, it seems, and this was not noticed by others also. Now if someone doesn't, maybe they have forgotten something, we immediately go and tell, right? That also did not happen because everyone was totally mesmerized by the Lord. Now, some what happened is, whereas some could not come out of their houses due to reasons unknown, that's when they held the Lord in their hearts firmly. This is nothing but the sheer love of the gopikas that they had for Krishna. And it seems that while they were so much, Deham Viduya, they gave up their physical body, it seems. That was amount of devotion which they had, and they attained supreme bliss, they attained the Lord. And these gopikas who were there, they were the most fortunate ones. Dhanya Dhanya. They remembered you and you only. And how did they remember? Jaratmananda Paramatma. They did not think about the Lord as Paramatma, as a Lord of the universe, but with a sense of love, it seems. There is one amongst us only. With this feeling, they remember the Lord, and that's when here Bhattatri says that it's not always necessary that you have to look upon the Lord as the Lord of the universe or so only. It can be in any form. That's the reason you look at a maybe small form of Krishna, you feel that it is my own child, right? Maybe you look at a young form of Krishna, you feel that okay, it's one maybe a friend also or my own partner. Maybe you look at a very, you can say, a big idol also full of alankaram that is done. At that time, maybe we worship the Lord like an elderly person. So the way we treat the Lord in different forms, whichever form we can worship, but that doesn't matter how we worship. You can say the amount of bhakti that we had, that is only needed to attain moksha. Finally, what happened is, Bhattatri concludes Dashakam 65 saying that all those women, the beautiful women of Gopikas had come there, and they were all surrounded. This Rasa Leela, right? And the Lord was standing in between. He had a captivating smile full of compassion. Why this Rasa Leela, this entire incident is done is because the previous avataram, Rama avataram, Rama had promised the sages that this avataram I cannot spend time with you. In the next avataram, definitely I will do that. To make that promise alive, this Rasalila incident is done. Moreover, secondly, to establish to the world a sense of love and affection that is there towards anyone and everyone around, be it any relationship, is something which is very much needed. And to it seems that from now, it doesn't mean that love and affection did not exist before, but Krishna Avataram is a very, very important phase to do this. So therefore, we should not look upon Rasa Krida like most people do, saying that, oh Lord, a Lord standing in between women also, he didn't have any work to do. The Lord has not taken an avatar just to be, standing around women and doing things like that. We should not look it with a very demeaning, you can say, human thinking that is there. It is our thought process, our ajnana. But to show to the world a sense of love and affection that is there, and moreover, it's not just simple around women also you stand and spend about your time. It's not so. These were not women, these were all goddesses themselves. That's the reason, if you think deeply, I told you, even if few gopikas, they could not come out of their houses, being inside their houses only, they attained the Lord. So just imagine the amount of bhakti that these gopikas had, and then we come, right? We have 10 books in praise of the Lord. I'm reading, nothing is happening, right? So this is the difference that we have in the bhakti. Yeah. So with this, Dashakam 65 comes to an end. Finally, the Lord Vishwaikaridya, the one who steals the hearts of the entire world. Harame Pavane Sharogan, O Lord, you please remove me of my ailments. With this, Dashakam 65 comes to an end. Okay, so in the previous Dashakam, Dashakam 65, we saw that how those gopikas who were there, they all got enchanted by the Lord. The only base feeling that they had for the Lord was love and affection. And in that bhakti that they had, they also attained moksha. So like this, they all assembled on moonlight day. Rasalila story started now. Dashakam 66 finally, as the Lord had promised all the sages in Rama Avataram, said that I will definitely spend some time with you, not in this Avataram, but in my next Avataram. The same thing was done here now. Finally, the Lord decided to fulfill the desires. And it seems that first the Lord spoke to each one of them. Taja Gata Vamamiva, meaning he spoke to each one of those gopikas lovingly. And it seems that all, even the rishis, they also had assembled. It seems rishis not there, from the skies also, even gods, rishis were saying. And at that time the Lord first talked to these gopikas. Kulavadhu dharmam, he gave them the upadesha of a dharma of a grihini, or dharma of a woman. Kulavadhu dharmam, that is, kulavadhu meaning the woman of the house, how she should be there, what is her dharma. The Lord started preaching. And it seems that the Lord, why did the Lord give this Upadesha to those women is because the dharma which will be told by the Lord, then that is going to be practiced by all the women in later. Until date, the same thing is being done even in Kali Yuga. Rather, it should be done. Yeah. So this Rasa Leela that is there is not just a mere form of dance singing or so that the Gopikas did with the Lord. This Leela was also taken up to preach dharmam to women also. So even, so it is not that only you go to the Gurukula and there you are taught about scriptures, this and that. Every section of the society is very, very important. And this again, in Krishna Avataram, this Rasa Leela, why this Leela was being done is again to show to the world that women are also a very important part of the society. They also have certain dharmas and rules which are to be followed. If that is not done, the society cannot function. Yeah. So again, this is also an important step, and that's the reason here the Lord himself talked about Kulavadu Dharma. It seems that at that time the Lord said, like while all those things were being told, or while those dharma was being preached, it seems that those some gopikas or so, they were a bit, they became sad. Why so? Because the Lord said that if you are born in a particular house, or if you are staying in a particular house also post marriage and things like that, there are certain things which you have to follow. You cannot always come here, be with the Lord, dance around, sing around, or so. You have to follow your dharma. So this showed that they have to be away from the Lord for some time, and that made them very happy. And they started weeping, puring, you can say crying also. And at that time, Lord took them to the banks of the river Yamuna, and it was moonlight. The light was also shining, and it seems that all those gopikas, what they had done is they made an excellent seat for the Lord to sit. So out of the, they had all bought with them certain garments, silk garments also, or whatever that they had with them, they spread out for the Lord, and Lord Krishna was sitting there. And that's when it seems that all those women folk, the gopikas who were there, they chumbana ulasai gada alingana sangaihi, he took them all close with him. He was there with them. That is, they all felt very happy being around the Lord. And at that time, what happened is, just as in a previous story, we saw that while a few gopikas were taking bath in the river, also the Lord had stolen their clothes. The Lord at this point he explains that I had stolen your clothes not to just do a very, you can say, a low level act, but by stealing those clothes, it was a sense that I'm removing the ahankara that is there inside all of you. This explanation was given here when he was sitting around the gopikas also. So just as I stole your clothes, that was actually to us, you can say, a signal also that the ahankara there inside your hearts, ajnanam that is there, that is going to be stolen by me also. So like this, listening to all this, the minds of all those gopikas became very very happy, and it seems that the Lord was not, while he was sitting around these gopikas also, even the apsaras and demigods, sages, even they were also seeing these sights. And it seems that while the Lord used to be separated from these women very beautifully, Bhattacharya describes in verse 9, he says, Viraheshu angaramayaha, Viraheshu angaramaya shringamayascha sange, wherein angaramayaha meaning like charcoal. When the gopikas used to be separated from the Lord, or whenever they experienced separation, it seemed that their hearts were burning like charcoal, it seems. Just as charcoal keeps burning and it spreads about here and there, that was amount of pain which their hearts used to experience. And the women, when they were surrounded by the Lord, also the gopikas were surrounded by Lord Krishna, they used to feel very, very happy. Finally, Bhattacharya concludes saying that Radha Tunga Payodhara, just as you go near Radha, you embrace Radha, you accept her love also. Similarly, O Lord of Guruvayur, I worship you. Please, Pavanapuradhisha Shamaya Sakalagadan, please remove all my ailments also. With this, Dashakam 66 concludes. Yeah. Okay. So we will stop here.